fan.
Let me see if I can find it on my phone. You need to listen to it on the laptop as well and make sure it sounds good once it starts.
About the fact that the game got called off.
I went ahead and clicked the start button.
What's your last name again? One more time.
Schindler, like the list.
Schindler's List.
I don't hear
Like the list.
You have to wait, it hasn't popped yet.
Yeah. Like the Pokemon, I guess.
There it goes.
That's what I used to get.
So they're muted right now. When you guys are ready, she'll unmute you.
Okay.
What's our channel? Clayton State Lakers.
I unmuted it and I still didn't hear anything.
I was just hate talking over the anthem. It feels weird. You
Well,
know,
we don't talk over the I've
Okay.
never talked over the anthem. I talk when they introduce the players. I'll just list them off or whatever.
Do you need
But I'm good
me
to
to send
the people they introduce.
the
I'm trying to
URL?
see if it
Sure.
pops up on
Let me introduce you to
YouTube.
Yeah, that's fine. We can talk about what
He's got his channel really
Perfect.
weird.
We'll pause for the anthem.
Yeah, always. I don't like. I'm really
Cool.
respectful.
You
I'm
worried
like
about
my second
listening to
home now,
that.
so it's like I'm
I'll go ahead and
like-
email
It's
him.
funny though, because like, especially here when it's quiet, you're right
Yeah,
here
it's
by
so awkward.
everybody.
You can hear it.
Yeah,
And
it's
everyone
like,
can hear it. Nah.
and they can hear you.
They hear everything I say. Like I've had them give me some shit sometimes when they've heard me say like mean things about them, but I'm just honest.
Yeah.
Trent is they got some old school looking jerseys. I like that one.
Yeah. Look at the names at least.
Yeah, we don't.
They're still
know.
muted.
So you're gonna struggle. I'm just warning you in advance. If you see
What's
the
the email? Is it J Darling? Does he have a number?
Foreigners.
Really?
Like our accents are crazy.
I'll figure it out.
Joshua
Hey,
Darling
really?
at
Yeah, whenever.
Alrighty. Are we ready to go?
I need it.
Hello and welcome to Clayton State's Ustream. Joining you here for this rescheduled game. Our Clayton State University Lakers on their season home opener, and they're going to be facing Palm Beach Atlantic.
Yes, Palm Beach Atlantic, and we welcome you alongside. She's Jessica Sharman. I'm Bill Schindler, and minus the rain, which is good. We actually were scheduled to play last night. Unfortunately, the rain rolled through. It seemed like we were the only place in Metro Atlanta that somehow it rained on. And here we are this afternoon, so we can get this home opener in.
I'm interested to see how the field holds up. We've been complaining as soccer players that the field hasn't been in the best condition. You can see over there on the left hand of the field, it's definitely been torn up in the warm-up by both teams. So I'm interested to see how that goes today.
Yeah, and it was one of those things yesterday. Really, the reason they didn't play
What's all the
until
way
end
out?
about 8:30.
Oh, it's muted here, sorry.
And you came out here and you looked at the field.
Can you hear
The
me?
ball basically was
Do they sound
hydroplaning.
normal?
You can see just from warm-ups today, if you're looking out, you can see that there's divots, and I imagine there'll be more divots to come. It was rather moist last night, so probably a good decision, and we'll get this in. It's number 5, Palm Beach Atlantic, the Sailfish, who opening conference play here, highly touted season, Jessica.
It's not actually a conference game today, it's going to be a regional game, but just as important as we know, winning the conference won't actually take you to nationals in the Peach Belt Conference. Your regional ranking is far more important, so it's a must-win game. And of course, first game of the season, it's always good to start with a win.
Yeah, and Clayton State, what do we know about them? I know this is the first time through for them.
Yeah, Clayton State, we've got several returners in our starting lineup. Ian Smith, excellent player. I believe he was nominated to the second team in conference and led the line. He's a good captain, solid. Oliver Pennell starting out in goal. Only played 5 games last season, but he's an excellent goalkeeper. And myself in goal for the women's team, we've had the pleasure of the season. Jesse Parsons played every game pretty much last season, strong player. The rest will be coming in as new players to play State, so should be interesting to see how they manage to work together.
And of course, Parnell, you're talking about that senior goalkeeper from Nottingham, England, and of course you're from across the pond as well.
We've got a lot of internationals here at Clayton
So we have to take a time.
Could cause a few problems in goal with the bumps and the divots, like you said earlier.
Well, and just looking at the weather too, let's get that back into factor here. It's actually cool today for Atlanta. I mean, this is all of a sudden a respite from the heat. It is in the 70s. It is actually windy. The wind on your screen would be going right to left. So that could be a factor as well if you're talking about goalkeepers attacking in the zones, defending in the zones. So just keep that in mind as you watch. Right now we're almost getting set for the national anthem, and we'll get you the starting lineups. But let's pause for a moment as it's the national anthem, and then we'll be back with those starters.
Very well respected observance of the national anthem there. Just wanted to point out we got a few of the women's soccer team in the crowd after our 2-1 win in overtime yesterday. Manoli Bakariso at the front there scored the goal 107 minutes into the game, so it's a good start for the Clayton State Lady Lakers. Hopefully the men will continue on the same foot, that's for sure.
Well, and congrats to you on that victory. And why don't we let you? I'll do Palm Beach Atlantic. Why don't you do Clayton State, since you are a part of the women's team, do the starting lineups for us.
Sounds perfect to me. So for Clayton State Lakers, it's going to be number 1, Oliver Pennell. Number 3, a freshman, Alan Parker. Number 4, Jesse Parsons, returning for his 3rd season with the Lakers. Number 5, another freshman, it's Jordan Knight. Bilal Nakli coming in at number 7. Number 8, Connor Atkinson, a redshirt freshman, tore his ACL before coming to Clayton State last season, got sent home, had his surgery, but he's back now in the white. Number 13, Jake Stevens. Number 16, captain Ian Smith. Number 17, utility player Nick Brazy. Number 65, Carl Addy Jr. And finally completing the lineup, it's number 77, another captain for the Lakers, Ryan King.
All right, and let's get a look at Palm Beach Atlantic for the Sailfish. Up front, Felipe Clavillo will wear number 13, as well as Lucas Coutinho. He'll wear number 10. Those are the forwards. They are a midfield-dominated team. Cameron Roberts in midfield with Dominic Budic as well, wearing number 19. On the defensive line, you'll see Michael O'Sullivan, Neil Slews. He'll wear number 5. Lucas Kusevich will wear number 6. Jerry St. Ville will be in the backfield as well, wearing number 3. And we'll also see at the midfielder positions Charlie Dennis wearing number 9 and Kuba Nyang as well, a junior from Gothenburg, Sweden, and in goal, Fernando Cortez. And we're underway. So finally the 2016 season, after a little bit of a delay, off and running for the men at Clayton State. So the Lakers in white, the Sailfish in blue, as you get a look down at the pitch.
An early possession with the Sailfish. Lakers haven't had a touch on the ball right now. Sailfish playing it round in defense, just being patient with the ball. Some good pressure by the Lakers, ensuring that they can't get that ball forward there.
Trying to get it to the midfield, the Sailfish, and see if they can get an attack going. And so far, as she was mentioning, as Jessica was mentioning, just playing in the backfield, Slews with a touch, playing kind of pitch and catch back there with O'Sullivan.
The ball's not long, but it's a good first touch by Jordan Knight. Strong defensive header. Good tackle there by Connor Atkinson. Lakers unable to maintain any real possession, though, and the Sailfish continue to move up the forward.
Nice slide kick taken out of bounds there. That will be a throw-in for the Sailfish.
And Jordan Knight gets that clear up to the halfway line. It'll be a throw-in.
Knight playing back there defensively. Of course, Knight is, as we mentioned in the opening, a freshman out of Spain, Javier Costa Blanca.
Jordan, he's an interesting player. He's actually born in England. He's got a British accent, but speaks Spanish fluently.
I guess if you're in Spain, you need to. Grew up there, played there. Like you said, from England. We'll have a throw in for the Sailfish near side.
Short throw, but a disappointing control there by the Sailfish. And Bilal Knockley will have his first attempt to break down the line. Blessed with pace, that boy.
So that's out. The senior from Paris, one of the main attackers for the Lakers. Bracy had a touch. Back over to the far side. Most of the action so far played in the middle of the pitch, but as we see that headed toward the far side sidelines, we'll have another throw in Palm Beach Atlantic's direction.
Definitely a lot of scrappy play. Neither team really taken the game by the scruff of the neck so far. Palm Beach with the majority of possession, but the Lakers seem strong in the back so far.
So when you're starting off a game like this, and obviously you're adjusting, getting what your game plan is implemented, how do you go out and look at these first 5 to 10 minutes?
I think for the Lakers coming in, they're going to be very aware of the strength of Palm Beach Atlantic, obviously ranked 5th in the nation. And I think Coach Pete will have probably told them, you know what, settle. Everything goes long early on. Don't be making any silly defensive plays that put you under risk right now. You want to absorb the pressure and then build before you start playing.
Jordan Knight's been active. Saw him out there on that far side wing doing a good job defensively. Keep trying to attack there, and it really has been not too much, at least, given up defensively.
But that's a good cross. First touches for Ollie Purnell. He'll be a little bit disappointed he didn't hold that, and it'll be a corner kick, first corner of the game.
As we mentioned, Parnell played 5 games, starting 3 last year, 370 minutes in goal. So we'll see this corner and see who's taking it as we'll get a glimpse of that number for the Sailfish as soon as he turns around.
And it's number 9. Is it number 9?
Yes, it is.
And that's going to be Charlie Dennis.
So Dennis trying to center it in the middle.
It's going to be an in-swinging corner. Up it goes. And the header just wide of the left post there.
So the first really offense showing for the Sailfish. Like we said, ranked number 5. They're kind of probably the most disappointed, I think, of the rain of anybody. This was going to be their off day. They're playing tomorrow at 1, and then they've got to go back down to Florida. So they've got a really jam-packed schedule, so the weather affecting them adversely. So maybe a little bit of advantage for Clayton State.
And a punt long by Oliver Purnell. And it's our first look at goalkeeper number 1, Fernando Cortez. Looks pretty small in the goal, that's for sure.
I see you going back to that. I knew you were looking at his height earlier. You were doubting the 5'8" they had on the roster, and you've been doubting that seriously, I know, since we first saw it.
Well, I'm one of the shorter goalkeepers in the female conference, and I know that height is nothing but a number in goal. It's all about your positioning. Nonetheless, I'm sure the Lakers have seen him, and they'll be placing shots above his head and testing him early on, I'm sure.
One of those, it's a game of angles. There's Knight again into the corner. And Knight, who's been active back there, will go back to his keeper, Purnell.
Put himself under a little bit of pressure there with the touch. Think he would have probably been better off just swinging it that first time, but he dealt with it okay.
Kusevich plays it back to his keeper, Cortez.
And passes across the goal.
There's O'Sullivan. We mentioned him earlier, the senior from Orlando. Played all 20 matches last year and made 19 starts.
And Jake Stevens does well there to get the ball under control. But it's a good slide tackle there by number 13, Felipe Clavijo.
And we'll have a throw-in upcoming here for Clayton State. I believe that's Ian Smith.
Long throw there by Ian Smith. A good knock by Connor Atkinson, but just wasn't on the same wavelength as Jake Stevens, who was stationary to the through ball. Lakers just sitting off there, letting Palm Beach Atlantic have the ball in their back third. Not a bad thing. Not much damage can be done when they're playing in the defensive third. Conserve your energy. Don't be chasing down balls that are not any danger to the goal.
Right now, still the pace just being played, getting a look around the corner, 38-20 and ticking till the half as we get our first foul call.
And this free kick could be an opportunity to send the larger players forward for Palm Beach Atlantic.
They're going to give it to the big foot of Michael O'Sullivan, and instead they'll just play it back. Well, they didn't take that opportunity to boom it forward. They played more conservatively.
Seem very comfortable in possession, the Sailfish in blue. But that's a decent through ball, but Jordan Knight there quick to receive that and put it out of play for a throw-in. And number 6 searching for a soccer ball there. No ball boys at today's game.
That's Lucas Kusevich from Santiago, Chile, the senior, who is kind of saying, hey, guys, I need some equipment over here. Played at least 70 minutes in 11 games last year.
And a good block there by Nick Bracey to stop the service entering the 18-yard box. But it'll be another corner. Last corner, we had a header go narrowly wide. So hopefully the Lakers can work on their marking to make sure that they're first to the ball this time.
Charlie Dennis from Brighton, England. That's a shorter university.
It's a good ball, but Bilal Knockley there first. And the Sailfish will begin again in the back. It's a nice switch there, wide. What a great ball that was. Will he make it? Doesn't manage to keep it in. Should have kept that simple number 9, Charlie Dennis there.
Dennis, the one who took the corner. Now we'll have our first goal kick as Oliver Pinnell will come out and perform his duties. Pinnell, as we said, from Nottingham, England, a business major. And we'll take it from the far side of the keeper's box. No score, as we said, still in the early goings of this match. Thank you for tuning in as yesterday rained on our parade, so to speak.
That's a long kick there, left-footed Oliver Pinnell, deep into the attacking third. Ian Smith strong there. That's a nice battle down the right-hand side. But Smith is beaten there by some nice footwork by the left back. And Smith again wide. Ryan King takes a tumble.
King was in there as well. King thought he was fouled. He's looking for the call.
Goalkeeper there bowls it out to his right back.
King and Nuckley were the attackers, really. Atkinson, you see there. There's King for Kennesaw State as Nuckley trying to put some pressure on the defense to clear it.
But Palm Beach maintaining possession, so comfortable in that back third, playing it around.
You look at their defenders. It's senior, 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 junior. And
So
a little bit of a break down that near side. Let's see, a crosser to the middle. A left foot shot on goal and just wide. Just missing Charlie Dennis.
Good save. Give him the credit there. Oliver Pinnell down low.
Did he get a hand on it?
Indeed, that's why it's a corner.
Perfect.
So it's a good save down to his left low.
I couldn't see it was blocked off there. I thought maybe it had gone wide, but you're right. It went wide off the hand.
It was a tricky one for Oliver there. Dragged to his left post. Got down well. But another corner. Referee having a little word with the defenders on the edge of the 18. Wanting them to keep their hands down.
Charlie Dennis, another encore for him from the corner.
And the call is away by the goalkeeper and it's headed over the bar. But the Lakers will be concerned. Every corner so far has had a Palm Beach Atlantic attack on it. Their marking clearly isn't strong enough because Palm Beach are able to get the head on the ball rather than the Lakers.
Bill Schindler, Jessica Sharman with you. And while we have you here, this is kind of a nice opportunity, especially when we have this little pause in the action, to talk about the corners since you're a keeper. How important do you set up those little set pieces and get everybody positioned where you want?
Well, I can't speak for Coach Pete, but my coach, Coach Fergal, is very big on defending set plays. We work on them separately with the defenders and the goalkeeper, and he will always tell you that you have to be strong in defense. And right now, the Lakers aren't quite putting their body on the line enough.
Playing toward the middle now, and again, Dennis with the touch. And a trip up. No call, though. Some collision over there. That was Alan Parker, the freshman, colliding for the Lakers, and that's removed out of bounds.
Jordan Knight again there. Strong presence in the defense, replacing Nick Haig, who's transferred to Georgia State in the defense.
See the throw in from the far side for Palm Beach. Palm Beach Atlantic, the Sailfish. They're ranked number 5. They're actually not too happy with that ranking. They thought maybe they should be ranked higher. Nice to have that confidence as that's batted up way in the air, and a header. That was King jumping for it, and that'll trickle out of bounds. And let's see where the flag has it going. It'll be in the direction of Clayton State. I'm sorry, that will be in the direction of Palm Beach.
And Kuskovic coming to take the throw-in front of the Clayton State bench. And it's over the top. Nick Bracey should get that. Good knock. Connor Atkinson plays it back to Jordan Knight. Playing around with it a little bit too much in the defense for my liking. Clayton State putting themselves under some unnecessary pressure there.
But they did manage to clear it eventually. Nuckley on this near side. get past him.
Through ball, unable to get that under control with his first touch, Joe. Slips through Ian Smith, but the foul is called there for a push on Ian Smith. He'll be very glad about that because Palm Beach were breaking through there.
Could have been some trouble if that wasn't called. You're right.
But now Jordan Knight will have the opportunity.
And the Lakers will set it up. They're 3 up front. Looks like they're playing, I think, what, 3-4-3? Would that be about right? Just by a glance for the Lakers?
I believe they're going to be trying 4 at the back, but they're having very high wing backs. They're trying to play attacking through their defense, and that's why they've got Brazy in the back. And who's playing right back for the Lakers?
Let's see. Is Parsons back there? It's Parsons, Bracy.
And it'll be Carl Addy Jr. Carl Addy Jr. and Brazy both blessed with pace. And I think the aim for Coach Pete would be that the fullbacks really push on and support their wingers.
Pinnell surveying the situation where he wants to go with this. And you mentioned early, Jessica, he does have a heck of a leg.
And we'll see that there as the ball long in, but a little bit too much of a leg there as it goes straight into the hands of senior goalkeeper Fernando Cortez.
It's keeper to keeper right there. We're trying to set up King, but I mean, that is just out kicking your coverage, literally.
Good
Breakaway.
through ball, but Oliver Pinnell, good positioning there on the edge of his 18, easy to pick that up. And I'm sure you're probably able to hear on the video the calls to go. Palm Beach Atlantic urging their forwards to press the Clayton State defense.
Some contact and now a late foul call going down in a heap. Looked like that was number 9, Charlie Dennis. Not a little guy, 6'2", 190 pounds.
I believe that was number 13, Filippo Clavijo on the floor. But he seems to have got up okay. But this is a very dangerous position for the Lakers now. Right-footed in swinging cross coming in. Man-for-man marking there. But number 9, dangerously free on the edge of the box right now. Not impressed with the marking there. It's under the bar. The knock's by Connor Atkinson, but the foul is called by the referee. Lakers will be glad because that stops another corner occurring. And it gives Oliver Pinnell another chance to use that powerful foot of his.
And that was Jerry St. Ville, who was the young man who was down there trying to get the header in, called for that foul. Time-wise, we're at 28:30 till the half.
Still no goals here.
Yeah, 0-0.
And Pinnell with that left foot. And that's a better kick there because he's aiming for the touchline. Still out of play, but those are better areas than straight down the middle. When you play it straight down the middle, it's going to come right back at you, central. So always aim for the wings.
It's a nice luxury, too, to have a keeper with that sort of leg. It really opens up the field.
Certainly, and it gives you that chance to relieve the pressure. Sometimes goal kicks occur when they've had a shot on goal or a chance, and sometimes it's nice just to be able to boot it long and give your defense that little bit of time to reset. Some tippy-tappy football there by Palm Beach.
Budic now trying to move it forward.
Heavy touch there by number 13, and now they'll have to start again, but looks like the Sailfish have no issue with that. They're very patient with the ball, not forcing any silly long balls. Instead, if it's not on, they play it back, as we're seeing right now.
Clavillo got a touch out there. There's Dennis in the middle. We've talked about him quite a bit already today, taking most of those corner kicks.
And this is Budic, number 19, plays it out wide. The reverse pass wasn't on. Knockley with the good deflection there, but it'll be a throw high up into Clayton State's defensive third.
Nice header by Bracey to try to break that up. And Bracey now with that little windmill kick trying to get it toward the middle.
Connor Atkinson with a great slide tackle there with the knee brace, but it doesn't seem like he's having any issues there.
Especially not on a wet field. Here's Kusevich. Lucas Kusevich will throw it in from this near side.
And good defensive play there by Knockley. We see so much of him attacking, but it's good to see that he's worked on his defensive play in preseason.
Keeps putting it to the feet of Coutinho. And there's Coutinho trying to make a move, and that'll be Stevens getting it away.
And Knockley now. And he megs number 6, and he's still got the ball. Lino not sure what way, so the referee calls it, and it'll be a Palm Beach ball. Knockley with some fancy footwork, though. First, we've really seen him attacking the defense.
Knockley and Slews, it looked like there, were the two that were fighting for that, and we'll have a whistle. I believe, was that Atkinson again?
That was Atkinson with another foul. We'll have to be careful. The referee obviously knotting up how many fouls he commits, and he won't want to get a card this early on, that's for sure, because it puts you under pressure for the entirety of the game. .25 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock. Still scoreless here at Laker Field in this season opener.
So impressions so far as we're sort of getting halfway through.
I would say Clayton State have done well. They've absorbed a lot of pressure. Defensively, they seem pretty strong. We've not really had a chance to look at the attacking of Clayton State. The majority of the possession, central of the field or within the Clayton State defensive third. What I'd really like to see is the Lakers to push forward a little more and test the goalkeeper. Hasn't had to work his hands once so far.
And the really story of this game so far has been the attack of Palm Beach Atlantic. They really have been attacking most of the game. It has been that defense, although solid defense by the Lakers.
However, if you're the Palm Beach coach, if it stays scoreless by halftime, you're going to be disappointed, because at the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, you don't win a game. It doesn't matter how many shots on goal you have. If none of them are converted, it's still a tie.
I don't have the live stats in front of me, but I believe there hasn't been a shot on goal yet for Clayton State.
And I don't think Oliver Purnell's really been forced to make a proper save. He's only had the tip over the crossbar, but that was from a cross.
Yeah, and had that hand on the ball that, knocking it out.
Of course, he had one very good save. I'll apologize to Ollie for that, for getting that save goal.
Well, I missed it the first time.
So it's my turn this time.
No worries on that.
And resetting here, it's going to be a free kick by Jordan Knight. Believe an offside might have been called.
So it's such a good save that we didn't even notice it. That was how good it was.
That's when you know it's a good save.
King tripped up outside. But
and into the fences there. That might have been a little bit uncomfortable for him. But was the foul called there? Yes, the foul's called. So we may well have an opportunity to see Clayton State sending their big men forward. We see Jordan Knight coming up. Jordan Knight and Carl Addy both in their 6 feet. 6'4", Carl Addy Jr. So really, if this is a good delivery, we should see the Lakers getting some heads on this ball.
Addy fighting for space down there. It's from Jonesboro, Georgia. They'll kick it toward the middle.
Ooh,
let's see.
Great ball, and that's Carl Addy.
Yeah, and saved by the keeper, Cortez.
But it'll be a corner there. Wasn't able to keep the ball in play after he flapped at that. It's a decent save there, but he would have liked to have held it to avoid that corner kick, because now he's putting himself under pressure. Very Loudon goal there, number 1. Cortez organising his defence. To see Ryan King standing in front of him. Nothing more annoying for a goalkeeper than having that striker in front of you.
Addy again got a foot on it and kicked it right back out.
Sure, that was a missed kick, but it went in the right place, so it doesn't really matter. Jake Stevens with a fantastic tackle, but only as far as the left back.
If there was one little weakness you would look at on the Palm Beach Atlantic roster, it could be they have 3 goalkeepers, but they're sort of inexperienced. They did play last year, but limited, and Cortez just pointing out that he only made, I believe, 9 shots last year. So, I mean, facing 9 shots and then coming in to be a starting keeper, that's a bit of an adjustment.
And I can speak for that as well. Last season, I played just 3 games of the season. We had a senior goalkeeper, and coming in, you might be sharp from training, but there's nothing compared to match fitness. It's a whole different world. So he'll be happy with his first save. He'll be happy he hasn't conceded. And it's all about just building within the game and building your confidence. So he's going to be feeling himself through early on. And that save will have done miles for his confidence.
Clock check. We're at the 21.5-minute mark till the half. As we said, if you're just tuning in, still scoreless. Much of this has been played on the offense for Palm Beach Atlantic, although, as we'll have a whistle there, it was an attempt of some offense by the Lakers.
I'll say that Clayton State were lucky that the referee called that back. He did give advantage, and for me, that knock forward would have been advantage played, but he calls it back, and the Lakers will have a chance to reset. I believe Jesse Parsons might be knocking this ball long.
Parsons from Hertfordshire, England.
Hertfordshire. It's my home
There you go. We'll go with your
home
pronunciation.
county as well.
See
Jesse
there.
from 15 minutes down the road from me.
I'll yield to the expert to my right.
You can work on the American towns. I'm still not good
That's
with
true.
those, that's for sure. Might have been here 3 years, but
I'll take Walla Walla, and you take all the other ones.
sounds perfect
All
to
right.
me. Long throw by Carl Addy, but only as far as number 3, Jerry St. Ville. They've got a small army down there for Palm Beach Atlantic, don't they?
They do. I mean, they've played very well. And like we said right now, I mean, the Lakers have to be happy it's scoreless. A little bit of pressure forced, but they'll get it back out. And there's going to be O'Sullivan over there. O'Sullivan looking for the call.
And Lakers lucky a foul wasn't called there. And that was Cortez put his defense under a little bit of pressure there with that short back pass across his area. Next time I'm sure he'll go long, that's for sure. But it should be a throw-in down on the right side. That's Ian Smith there. Long throw we saw earlier. I was surprised with that, so I'm sure this is going to be a long throw. And there it is, looking for Carl Addy. Bilal Knockley, Jake Stevens. And the foul is called. Belief a dangerous play by Jake Stevens, a high foot there.
So that now at least gives Cortez an exit strategy. Go over to O'Sullivan to try to work it up the field.
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes if you've had a sloppy back pass, all you want to do is go long to relieve that pressure. But Palm Beach Atlantic don't seem to be a team that want to go long from the defense. It's all about little tippy-tappy plays.
Slooves forced it ahead and forced it too far.
But Pennell does well there, commanding his area. And he's telling his defense to tuck in. He doesn't want to play it short. He's going to roll it out. Taking his space there. And we know it's going long for Ollie Pennell. Up it goes towards Ryan King. Knockley with a pretty turn there.
And forced out by this solid defense of the Sailfish. That was Kusevich. As we said, the defense is solid. They call that the tippy-tap play. They have played that, and we'll look inside, but again, forced back out. But that is a defense that goes senior, 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 junior, and they've been quite content when things just aren't going their way on the attack to play it back and let those seniors handle it.
And you talk about defensive experience on the side of Palm Beach Atlantic. For Clayton State, it's a completely different story. The only regular returner in defense is Jesse Parsons from last season. Jordan Knight, a freshman. And then we have Carl Addy Jr., who's transferring in this year from GMC. Ollie Pennell in goal, obviously, only begins starting games this season. And then Nick Bracey's just played everywhere on the field, but not a regular left back.
And here's Atkinson, who redshirted last year. Just a freshman.
And he swings the ball in. A good delivery there towards the height of Jordan Knight, but he's unable to get it. And it'll be a Laker throw-in. Ian Smith running over, knows his job. And I really do think the long throw can be more dangerous in a corner sometimes, because when you look at the trajectory of the ball, it's a lot flatter, so it's a lot harder to defend.
Easier to get a head on, too, or get to your feet.
Exactly. So Ian Smith with the long throw. Up it goes. Loopy this time. He'll be disappointed with that throw. And now it's Jake Stevens. I'd put a foul in there, slow down the play, but instead they're breaking on. Nice switch of play.
And so here come the Sailfish.
And a good tackle there by Jordan Knight. I think he got the ball. Maybe a little biased, but I would say he got the ball. But we've got a nasty injury down there, it looks like.
Yeah, the left knee, it looked like he was.
And I don't do knees.
That was, I think, Coutinho.
And he's in a lot of distress there. You can see that. And Coutinho was the player that was down earlier on the left-hand side. So he's had a bit of a knock-up for a first game.
5'9", from a senior from Recife, Brazil.
And they're calling for a sub, that's for sure. Hand signals there, rotating hands. They want a substitution here.
Let's check that. That is Cluvio, 13, not 10. We can see his number now. So don't want to scare anybody. It's not Coutinho, it's Cluvio. Couldn't tell if it was 10 or 13. Coutinho is up and walking. Felipe Cluvio, who is a sophomore from Santiago, Chile, is the one who is down.
And we see number 17 on the sideline. That's Abu Winter warming up there. I think they know they're going to need a substitution at this point. Does not look good down there. But we can use this break in time to just have a little bit of talk. I'm very impressed with how the Lakers' last 10 minutes have gone. There's been a lot more attacking play within the last 10 minutes. There's been a lot more possession for the Lakers in the final third for them. And they're really doing well at closing down the goalkeeper, closing down the defense, and not giving them quite as much time on the ball.
Now, how would you defend this? I see they're already talking about how they're going to construct their wall. Obviously, we don't want to get ahead of the injury, but after play resumes and the clock just frozen, just to give you an update at 16:37.
It's a very dangerous area for a free kick here, just off central, about 21 yards out. So Oliver Purnell there setting up a wall of 5. Now from this area, you do expect a shot, so Oliver's going to have that wall there strong. However, the 4 free big men, you notice how he's left his most aerial presences in defense in case they decide to cross it. They're going to need to man mark this.
Looks like Atkinson, Knuckley, Parker, and let's see if we can get the other names for you. I'm trying to
That's
see
Smith and Stevens in the wall as well. Ryan King just hovering behind. And it's a sad sight in front of us right now. Number 13, Felipe Clavijo, being lifted off the field, left leg looking pretty immobile. And his teammate comes on to carry him. And no one likes to see that. It's horrible to see injuries like that. Wasn't a malicious tackle, we'll say that. It's just a freak accident. And when you roll your knee in soccer, you never know what might happen. So hopefully it's not as bad as it looks for him down there.
Like you said, we wish him the best. And it'll be Brian McMahon going to the bench for Abu Winter, freshman from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania.
And it looks like the left-footed shot might be coming from number 9, Charlie Dennis. Or it could be the right-footed option. We shall see. But it's got to be a shot. And it's Charlie Dennis. Over it goes. And a good save down to his right by Ollie Purnell. Definitely saw that late.
Yeah, and Purnell, they were bending it to him. And a nice little dive that he just knuckled it out for his second save of the game. And we still are at 0-0.
It's going to be another corner kick, this time from the other side. Looks like it's number 19, Dominic Budik, the junior, coming to take this corner. It's going to be right-footed in swinging. In swinging corners always harder for the goalkeeper because they're going to be coming underneath your bar.
Budik to the middle, and that'll be played nicely and out. But we have another corner.
It's going to be a goal kick. The linesman overruled the referee there. So left-footed Ollie Purnell with a chance to hopefully clear some pressure off the Lakers.
And a break for the Lakers, too. You don't want back-to-back corners. Nice defense, too, when you consider what they were up against. That was a nicely created shot by Charlie Dennis, really.
It was an interesting one, really. He looked like he was going to use power, and instead it was all about the intricate placement. There wasn't a lot of pace on the ball, but it was the positioning that forced Ollie to use his feet to get across the goal. And finally, a corner for the Lakers. And look at them sending their big men forward from the back, leaving Nick Bracey at home, blessed with pace. And also number 3 left back, that's going to be Alan Parker. Now, for me, I don't like how this defensive play is set up here. They've got just one man marking. If the ball goes long, it's going to be on one-on-one.
That was Atkinson trying to look for Addy, and just sending a little bit long for Carl Addy Jr.
Bit of a wasted corner there, really. You don't want your corners going out for throw-ins. Atkinson will be disappointed with that.
Coach Pete Peterson for Clayton State. I'm sure we'll have some thoughts on that.
Well, Coach Pete's been at Clayton State for nearly 20 years now, I believe. Ever present in the men's program. And I hate to say it, but he does like to talk. Good coach, but very talkative. And he'll tell his boys what he thinks. I'm sure we'll be hearing it from up here, that's for sure.
To the feet of Pinnell, and Pinnell will reassess the situation. I was talking with Pete the other day, and you could probably chime in on this, as it's Bill Schindler and Jessica Sherman with you, and we thank you for tuning in once again. Still 0-0, headed toward halftime. But we were talking about players from England and how the transcripts are kind of tough to get, especially in the summertime. You got to go through the NCAA clearinghouse. It's kind of an issue. And so you have gone through that situation.
It's a nightmare as an international, the different paperwork you have to fill out. You've got visas, you've got transcripts from high school, and the issue with English transfers is our school terms are different. So our exam results don't get released till August. Well, of course, season started by the first week of August, so sometimes there's issue with transcripts. We've got one player from England, Will Summerfield, former pro at MK Dons, or I shouldn't say pro, but he played for the team. And he's not able to play for the Lakers right now because his transcripts haven't been cleared. So I really think it's a very complicated process for internationals, and it's disappointing when you come all this way and then you can't get cleared to play.
I've seen that a lot in basketball as well, as it is Coutinho. Coutinho trying to work some magic. There's Dennis. And so far, it's been solid defense, but they've been pecking away at it. Dennis over there.
And we saw a substitution there. Nick Bracey taken off. And that's Shams Elikarbit. How are we going to pronounce Shams' last name? Number 11.
Number 11 for Palm Beach.
Nope, for Clayton State.
As that will be kicked out there.
And it's kicked long by Oliver now, giving Ian Smith a chance to run. And the foul's called on Ian Smith.
Elikabal. Shams Elikabal.
It's a good one.
It is.
And Shams coming in from the Netherlands this year. Full of energy. And I'm sure we'll see some of that energy later on in this game. Jake Stevens trying to scrap away. Good through ball there, but it hit number 12's ankle and bounced back.
And a foul. Well, it will look good from up here. Connor Atkinson was doing his best. That didn't make Pete Peterson happy.
Coach Pete on the sideline, referring to a player as a diver. And it did seem that he was going down pretty easily.
A nice cross and attempt on goal there, and that was a little bit of a deceiving shot from Charlie Dennis that almost got to the corner, but it just went wide.
I think Ollie misjudged that a little bit, thought it was going well wide, and then had to scramble across his goal. He'll be happy to see it hit the backboard and not the net, that's for sure.
Yeah, just watching Ollie, it kind of was like nonchalant, oh, well, it's going to be well wide. And all of a sudden, it was very close.
And he's had to slide in, but I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he had it covered, had it sneaked in.
Just going back to that foul, too, from at least our perspective, it looked like maybe if he was wearing an extra large, it went to a double XL after that stretch of the jersey.
Yes, for sure. And I think Connor Atkinson has got to be careful out there. He's totting up quite a few fouls on the field, and I'm sure soon the referee might be reaching into his pocket.
Under 11 minutes to play in the first half. Still no score. Gusevich with a touch. Like we said, we've seen that a lot as there was O'Sullivan working ahead too, that they've liked to play that back to the defenders in a high kick, some dangerous play there. That's Abu Winter, who just came in as an injury substitution for Clavillo.
And I believe that play was given offside anyway, so had the foul not been called, it would have been a free kick anyway. But for someone his size, he got his leg up certainly pretty high there, and Jordan Knight's head Nearly got a kick, that's for sure.
Winter at 5'9". From Newtown Square. That's outside of outside of Philadelphia, we should say. I believe. See, look at this. Jessica, you were telling me about England. I will tell you about the United States. I believe they have, that's one of the biggest mushroom growing areas in the country.
Fascinating. Facts at Clayton State. We learn something new every day, that's for sure. And Connor Atkinson here spreads the play to Jesse Parsons. And Jesse with a hospital pass there, but Connor Atkinson did well to get a touch on that. He needed to. And a throw-in certainly better than a clear run at goal. Jesse, great with his feet, but that was a little bit risky there. Winter.
So the Lakers, like we said, playing that solid defense, but it would be nice to see them, I'm sure, for their fans to turn on a little bit of offense. Relieve the pressure, too, on their keeper.
Certainly absorbing a lot of the pressure, but it's not going to be like that all game. And I say that, and as I say that, Jordan Knight cleared off the line. Whew.
It was nicely played out.
And there's only so long you can keep saving and keep defending. They need to get the ball clear. And the attack just needs to do a little bit of work to hold the ball up in the other half of the field.
And you're right, Knight was the one who really saved it there. We'll have a chance here for Clavillo. Clavillo working through, looking for the crosser, and can't get it off the right foot. That's knocked out of bounds.
And Clavillo, clearly a dangerous player, beat 3 defenders there and still managed to get the cross in, but it was well deflected by Alan Parker for the corner. We'll have a corner now by Charlie Dennis.
Charlie Dennis seems like he has been over there so much he should start paying rent in that near side corner.
Certainly far more corners for Palm Beach Atlantic compared to the Lakers. And the short one is on, but he knocks it over. And Shams there.
And Palm Beach will be getting another opportunity.
And a switch in throw leads me to believe. Oh. And I'm not quite sure. Oh, there's going to be a substitution. The referee didn't notice it soon enough. And in front of us here, it's number 14, Cleve Desir. And it's number 24, Fredo Dilbert coming on. And coming off is rent payer, Charlie Dennis. And number 12, Keba Nyang. So I'm interested to see if they do get a corner kick, who's going to be taking them now, because Charlie Dennis was the look to for all set plays so far. And the shot there by Winter deflected off Jordan Knight, and it will be another corner.
Here we go again. This time, though, we'll get it from the far side, and so they'll switch it up, and it'll be Coutinho.
It's going to be an in-swinging corner, right-footed. Some front post marking by Jordan Knight. No one on the back post. And it's flicked over, but only as far as the sideline. And it'll be a Lakers throw-in.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you don't want your corners to end up being throw-ins, and that is an example right there for Palm Beach Atlantic.
But however, the referee has overruled his official and says that it's a Palm Beach Atlantic throw-in. Believe it must have deflected off a Lakers head.
So a bit of a reprieve. Kusevich threw it in. Coutinho on foot. And looking ahead as that'll trickle back outside.
And Jake Stiffens with a mistimed slide tackle. And Jordan Knight strong in the back there. Been very impressed with Jordan, the freshman. Definitely doesn't play like a freshman.
Pressure on. Pressure so far has held.
But Palm Beach just killing themselves in the final third, really, trying to pass the ball into the net. They've had several opportunities where they can shoot from distance, and instead they want to thread the ball through an eye of a needle. And I think their coach is telling them, have a go sometimes. You don't have to score a goal that's come from 50 passes. Sometimes just have a shot. You don't know unless you take that shot. Kusevich
will receive here. As we see that defense with Slews, I should say, back there, as well as O'Sullivan. See if they can get something going. An opportunity for Clayton State. They'll look ahead. Can they stay onside? So far, yes, but they couldn't get the ball to him.
Oh, but Bilal Knockley comes on to the disappointing clearance, and he chips it in, and it's just wide. Oof.
And trying to clean it up was that King, I believe, with the slide at the end.
But all that came from the error by, believe that's number 5, is that?
It would be Slews if it's number 5.
Oh, it's number 6. My apologies there.
Well, then that would be Kusevich.
But he was playing around in the back, and he's apologizing to his coach there because he knows he put his team under a hell of a lot of pressure there. And sometimes that's when you just have to whack it long. You don't need to do pretty clearances.
That was almost cleaned up by Ryan King. I mean, King had a golden opportunity and actually put a nice foot to it, but the ball was already a little bit too wide for him to do anything with it.
And Ian Smith, Knockley manages to get on. Scrappy play in front of us. We're into our final 4 minutes of this first half. Still 0-0 if you're tuning in now.
.340 and ticking. Would you consider this a win, Jessica, if it's 0-0 at half?
I think Coach Pete will be happy with elements of it. They've soaked up a lot of pressure. Defensively, they've looked strong. And defensively, the Lakes have looked like a team that have played together plenty.
Another opportunity. What are the Lakers going to do with it? And they'll let it trickle out. So
Jordan Knight, very strong in the back. And I've been impressed with the partnership between Knight and Parsons. Considering they've only played 2 preseason friendlies together prior to this, they look like a defensive back that have played together several times.
Oliver Pinnell, man, this has been I'd say if you want to find a player for a first half award, especially for Clayton State, it's got to go to Pinnell.
Definitely. He's been good from the back. And I think what's so important is if the defense can trust the goalkeeper, they're going to play with that little bit more comfort, knowing that they can have their goalkeeper there to sweep if they do make errors. Good clearance there, and Ryan King with a good touch, but Ian Smith swipes at that. Former D1 transfer Ian Smith played at Clemson prior to coming to Clayton State last season. And he'll be disappointed with that touch.
Actually tied the NCAA Division II record for fastest consecutive goals, did Ian Smith. Now, I mean, this is kind of a neat record. Last year he did it on September 3rd, so it's almost the anniversary of that tomorrow.
So who knows, perhaps the second half could see him beating that record. I'm sure Clayton State fans would love to see that.
Well, he scored consecutive goals at 67-47 and 67-55.
That's just
impressive.
6 seconds.
Yes. Hey, and that tied the record. It didn't set a record, it tied it.
It's quite.
In case you were wondering, too, here you go. The record holders, and here's the even more unbelievable part. There were 2 others who've done it before. George Mosidis and Steve Luce.
It's quite something. 2 goals in 6 seconds. I'm sure he was on a high after that, that's for sure. And with 1 minute, 16 seconds on the clock, Palm Beach will be looking to have one final attempt before the half is called.
And 0-0, or are we going to have a score?
And he's
an
offside.
Call.
Oliver Pinnell dealt with the scraps anyway. Played to the whistle as we're taught as juniors. And with less than a minute left to play, Oliver's going to be looking to boot that long and perhaps have a run from Ian Smith or the likes to finish off well. Now would be an amazing time to score a goal.
Well, he's got the leg to put it down there. So we'll see how far he can get it down the field.
A little bit higher than usual. His flat kicks are more effective, I would say. And Alan Smith.
Parsons went down for a moment. Down into the corner there.
20 seconds on the clock.
Beach on goal, knocked away nicely. That was played very well by Clayton State and Jordan Knight.
Jordan Knight just getting anything on it, but with less than 10 seconds to play, they're going to have to get this corner in fast. We hear the countdown. And Ollie Pinal with the punches his player.
And there's the buzzer, and that will be too late. So, man, oh, man, some cardiac time at the end of half number 1.
And Alan Parker down in the area. I think Oliver Pinal might have punched him in the head coming for that cross. A little bit erratic by Ollie. He'll be disappointed with that, but with just 5 seconds on the clock, I'm sure he just wanted to get rid of anything.
And, of course, Alan Parker, we should say, was shaken up a little bit earlier, and so that's like a twofer. But here we are at halftime, 0-0, and what a conclusion to the first curtain drop here.
Definitely. I think it was a very good first half by the Lakers. I don't think they'll be disappointed with going in 0-0 at halftime. They absorbed a lot of pressure, and, you know, they didn't concede a goal, which is the most important thing first and foremost. I think if you're looking at the second half, how they could improve, they definitely need to work on their offensive third, because right now they're putting themselves under too much pressure. They need to test the goalkeeper, and they need to make their set plays count. I feel like their best opportunity is going to be from the corners, and like we said earlier, you can't have a corner going out for a throw, and you really need to get a shot on goal from a corner.
So Pete Peterson will talk about, I'm sure, the set pieces when they go back into the locker room and get everything at least sorted out the way he wants it, and also how maybe they can attack more often. Now, as a keeper, Jessica, how much pressure? I mean, Oliver Pinal played amazingly through that first half. How much pressure, though, is on him when we saw the pace of play essentially play on the defensive half for Clayton State?
I definitely think Oliver's under a lot of pressure in the back. He knows that Palm Beach are going to keep attacking, and he knows that he's always going to have to be ready. I think the hardest thing for Oliver is nothing's coming long shots outside your area, and goalkeepers prefer that. I would rather someone shoot at me from distance because I have longer to deal with it. Right now they're playing tippy-tappy football in the final third, so he's got to be prepared all the time. I think Oliver's done very well at talking to his defense through the game and making sure that they've been in the right positions, which has actually forced him to make less saves than he might have to have done had his defense not been so strong. Standout in defense for me was Jordan Knight. I'm very impressed with that freshman. He was strong at the back, and like you said earlier on, he did very well in the final minute to get that ball clear, because that could have been very dangerous.
Yeah, Jordan Knight getting that foot on there, and that's the young man you mentioned, born in England, raised and grew up in then Spain, and speaks fluent Spanish, and we see him walking off now. Well, I believe we're going to take a break. We'll step away, and we will be back with the start of play for half number 2.
So
no score as both teams locked up in a defensive battle. It's number 5, Palm Beach Atlantic, and Clayton State. We'll be back with more here on Clayton State YouTube channel.
And welcome back to Laker Field here for our rescheduled game against Palm Beach Atlantic. You're joining us for the second half, currently 0-0. What have your thoughts been on the game so far?
So far, pretty good defense played by the Clayton State. And, I mean, they've been forced to play that, and they've held up well against a pretty solid Palm Beach Atlantic attack. They've had a few opportunities, haven't really gone their way, and I know you were looking, especially at the statistics, I mean, looking at the saves and the shots on goal.
Yeah, definitely. Oliver Purnell with 2 saves, but obviously, as we were talking about, statistics don't always show the real characteristics of a game, particularly for goalkeepers. Oliver's been a lot more busy than the 2 saves show. And comparatively, Fernando Cortez in goal for Palm Beach Atlantic with the 1 save. And really, that probably is a real depiction of how much he's had to do. Only really used his feet a little bit, and the Lakers haven't really tested the goalkeeper so far today.
Probably the best scoring opportunity was Ryan King when he got a slide at the far side of the net, but the ball was already past the net, so he really just could bat it all the way in. But there was looking like maybe an opportunity on that rebound. That's been about it, though, for Clayton State.
And a wasted kickoff there. That's not a very good kickoff at all for the Lakers.
Bill Schindler and Jessica Sharman with you. Tomorrow, just a reminder, 7 o'clock, our next broadcast, men will be here hosting Barry, so tune in for that.
And the early start for the Lakers, as we were saying, a little bit disappointing. They had a kickoff and they really wasted possession, turning it over to Palm Beach early.
Trying to sort out who will have it. Lakabi who came in as a substitution. Last to touch that, and as, again, just a reset in the white and orange. If you're just tuning in, it's Clayton State, Palm Beach Atlantic in the blue with the white on their shoulders, and they'll switch how they'll go across your screen. It's right to left right now. Action as it's controlled by Palm Beach.
And starting just the way they finished Palm Beach, tippy-tappy in the back, getting 100 passes in the defensive line before they move into their own half, it seems.
We talked about that as 3 seniors, a junior on defense, and they've just decided, hey, we're going to wait and see, kind of let things set up, and that's almost been the times we've seen the ball back in the zone of Palm Beach.
And one statistic I would be interested to see, and unfortunately we don't get that up here, would be the possession statistics, because I have to say, if you had a guess on it, Palm Beach must have had at least 60 to 70% of the possession.
Easily, yes. I think that would be a fair assessment.
But possession doesn't mean anything if you don't get a goal on the board. So the Lakers will be okay with the possession as long as it's in the non-aggressive third.
Still scoreless, and that's off the head. And nice defense play. Boy, we've seen him use all appendages. That's Jordan Knight.
Not sure he knew quite where that one was going. He turned around, checking it wasn't going towards the goal.
Knight has saved a goal with his foot, I believe his left foot. There he got it with his head, and we'll have a corner kick from the far side. I think that is going to be our favorite corner kicker, Charlie Dennis again.
But that was a disappointing corner kick there. Easy clearance for Connell Nicholson. And that'll be a throw-in instead. And with those corners, he didn't even beat the first man, so that was a bit of a wasted corner. But now he has a chance, attacking from the 18. Ollie down and well pounced on there to save the corner.
That'll be his 3rd save.
And Coach Pete yelling at him to go long, so I think we know where this one's going.
And that big foot will get it out past midfield to King, but that'll be out of bounds, so they waste an opportunity there.
And it looked like a good first touch. I'm not quite sure how he let that trail off, really. But I guess Ryan King hasn't had too many touches of the ball, so it is hard as a player when you have not seen the ball very much to be expected to switch in right away.
Of course, he'll be playing his old team at Barry. He started 14 games with them in 2013 as a whistle there.
Scrappy foul there that was on Carl Addy Jr., number 65. And the Lakers need to try and avoid giving away such scrappy fouls because it allows Palm Beach to gain control of the game again. And, you know, they're going to get 100 passes now. Through ball there. Test of pace. Some good work there down the left back.
And nicely played again by Clayton State. Just to characterize this team, let's see if you think this is a fair characteristic.
For sure.
For Palm Beach. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, you said that, the ticky-tacky kind of back and forth, tippy-tappy, I should say, back and forth of their passing. But it just seems like they want to do it. They're a finesse team and sort of finesse you to death.
And I think you're right there, but I think it could be semi-detrimental for Palm Beach. They're just doing a little bit too much. Teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid, they like to keep possession. They like to play 100 passes. But sometimes you do just have to go long. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to score a goal from the edge of the 18-yard box rather than trying to tippy-tappy it in and score from 6 yards. You can take shots. And sometimes I feel like they're just doing the most. And as we saw earlier, it puts you under a little bit of unnecessary pressure. I think you remember it would have been Ryan King's attack came from an error in defense where they misplaced one of those many passes in the back.
I think that is, well, I know it's Dennis out there looking to force it ahead, and the flag goes up. So offsides, and we'll see Clayton State get an opportunity to try to clear it once more.
And returning from what you were saying, though, death by this passing, I think on the Clayton State's negative side, it is going to tire them out. If they're chasing down every pass, Palm Beach are making the ball do the work. Their players aren't having to run around chasing. The Lakers are getting tired from chasing down those passes. And hopefully Coach Pete will be able to use his, I think they've got 6 eligible subs on the bench, so they might have to come in soon to put in some work chasing down balls.
It's the soccer equivalent, if you want to do the Muhammad Ali thing, of the rope-a-dope. Let them wear themselves out. There's Dennis. And Coutinho. Coutinho looking for space back to Dennis, and let's see if Dennis is onside and what he can do with it.
And that was well back there by Shams El Akabi. But it'll be a corner kick.
Yeah, it was out on El Akabi, and it looks like Coutinho will be the one to go to this near side corner. Can't see him on your screen, but he'll be down there.
And there'll be an in-swinging corner. 38-43 in the second period. And the in-swinging corner is deep. Ollie Pinal with a little deflection on that. Not quite sure if he should have come from it, but at least he got a touch on it to push it away from the oncoming forwards.
He was being proactive instead of sitting back and seeing what could happen, but now you have another opportunity, though this is a throw-in for Palm Beach.
And it's cut back there. Set up to Dennis. Dennis with a little touch. And that was a great ball to beat the offside trap. Some good footwork. Last-ditch tackle.
Almost looked like a handball out there, too, but nothing called. And a nice clearance there as King now gets tackled from behind.
And he could be in some trouble there. That's got to be a yellow card.
That was Jerry St. Ville, and a yellow card on the young man from Jupiter, Florida.
And Ian Smith arguing it should have been more, but in fairness, there were 2 recovering defenders, a goalkeeper, and it was in our own half, so I can't see that ever being a red card there. I think a little bit ambitious call there by Smith. But unfortunately for the Lakers, this free kick is a little less effective than that break when King was one-on-one. King with pace and a great finisher of the ball. And now instead, the Lakers will have a free kick just inside their own half. Connor Atkinson on that. Ryan King doing some sort of hand signal there. So I'm guessing this is a training ground move about to come on.
Now let's see. King milling around down there. Will they try to get it to him? Well, it was really to no one in particular.
And if that was a training ground move, Coach Pete won't be happy with the way that's executed because the Lakers now in trouble. 4-on-4 break, but it's cut down well there by Atkinson.
Addy Jr. just retreats to his own goalie.
And Ollie knocks that long left-footed across the halfway line. Ian Smith beaten to the ball there, but Jesse will have a chance. Knocks it long. And a little bit of miscommunication there between the goalkeeper and the defender allows the Lakers to have the ball.
Headed back. Let's see here. King fighting for room. Smith. It's Alakabe. Alakabe will lose control. Slide tackle in front of Smith. He's trying to keep it alive.
Some very scrappy play by both teams there. But now Palm Beach will break with the ball. And that's through number 6, I believe. It was Kusevic. And it's into Dennis. Dennis, a playmaker in the middle of the field. I've been impressed with the way he's able to switch the ball. But having said that, he just misplaced his pass. And King now, 2-on-3 here for the Lakers, 3-on-3.
Elakabe down that near side wing, crosses to the middle, and that's going to be right into the keeper's hands. So Fernando Cortez gets his second save.
But on the stat sheet, that won't count as a save because he picked up a cross, but he did well there under his crossbar, got up good.
He'll get another touch at least, we should say.
And that's important for the goalkeeper who's may not be young in terms of his seniority status, but he's young to the field. He hasn't played much for Palm Beach Atlantic. So for him, any touch on the ball is a good touch on the ball.
Yeah, like we said, he's only played 81 minutes in net last year. So, I mean, you're almost, he plays the whole game today. You're getting over that.
And you never know, if it stays like this, he'll be getting up to 110 minutes of soccer because, of course, here in the NCAA, if it's a tie at full time, it's going to go to overtime.
Coutinho trying to lace his way through and puts a shot on goal, but wide on the near side.
And that one didn't have Pennell scrambling, did it? This time he knew that one was well wide.
Yeah, tried to cross it into that corner.
Now, what's interesting today is the Lakers often encourage Pennell to play the ball out the back, but today they're not even bothering to set up for the short ball. Instead, every kick that Pennell gets, he's going long. And I'm guessing that's because Palm Beach put on that high pressure early, so they don't want to risk playing around with it in defense.
King heads it back, and let's see, they'll put it at the feet of Abu Winter.
Good control there on his chest by Ian Smith, and Al-Kabi out wide to Ryan King. Ryan King one-on-one, but is unable to thread the ball through.
Played out there by Parsons. I should say, check that O'Sullivan, we should say, for Palm Beach.
That was a poor pass by Addy Jr. And it's over the head of number 18 for the Lakers. That's Carlos Naranjo coming in, the redshirt freshman. I believe he started the first half, but that was his first minutes within the game.
Bill Schindler and Jessica Sharman with you. No score. We're in the second half, 33-50 and ticking.
Now, Bill, tell me, are you impressed with the way the Lakers come out? Because I think they've done a little bit better in the offensive half so far.
It seems to be a little bit more energy. They've played very up-tempo when they've had the ball in the attacking zone. And so I think, obviously, Pete Peterson probably sat down and had some words of encouragement and some constructive criticism on all sides, as there was an opportunity for Abu Winter.
And that's Abu's second offside of this game. I think he's just got to watch his line, because from what we've seen, Abu Winter has a lot of pace. He doesn't need to be going that early. He can hang on and he might still get that through ball. So from a Palm Beach Atlantic perspective, they'll be disappointed that he's not waiting, because you can't get caught offside in those positions.
Just to summarize that, Winter was coming, but then he was, thawed at the end by the offside call.
Witty banter for days today, and that was good there by number 1, Cortez. Goalkeeper got down low and was in a good position there to catch that ball.
Overcast day, and it is cool. It's in the 70s. Actually a nice day for the athletes. They've got to be happy they get this little respite from the heat. It'll heat up again tomorrow, supposedly, but right now unseasonably chilly, and that has to do with the tropical storm. But either way, we're happy. At least it's not raining.
And they'll definitely be happy about that. These boys have been practicing in 80 to 100 degrees all preseason, so now this should really help their fitness.
Another opportunity. That's Dennis. He'll play it back. Left footer, just wide.
And I'm not sure, but it looked like Ollie knew that was going wide because he pulled his hands away. Didn't want to deflect a shot going wide and lead to another corner. So he left that one, but from up here it looked pretty close again, didn't it?
It did, and that was Dominik Budic, the junior from Frankfurt, Germany. Played over at Auburn University, Montgomery.
But that's what I'm talking about, Bill. That's where Palm Beach need to take those shots. That's one of the first shots from distance they've had, and look how it tested Clayton State. Palm Beach don't need to be playing around within the 18-yard box because it allows the Laker defense to capitalize and get those tackles in.
Well, and if you try to get point blank, it's going to allow the defense to sit back and know you're going to do that. If you start booming some of those shots from midfield.
They're a surprise, aren't they?
Well, and all of a sudden loosens up the defense, too. They're going to have to come out and play, and you have to respect that there might be a shot coming from out there.
For sure, and the Lakers need to do the same. They need to take their chances because they've had a couple of opportunities, but they haven't really capitalized or tested the goalkeeper too greatly.
Well, it's Budic again, and nicely coming up and taking this opportunity to stop that offensive attack was the keeper, Pinnell.
That was brave by Oliver Pinnell, putting his head in, putting himself at risk, which you often do as a goalkeeper, and what a punt that was. That came down with snow on it, didn't it?
It did. And it was high. Good heavens.
And Connor knocks it over, and I think Sham should have really jumped for that one. I don't think it was as bad a ball as his reaction seemed to show. Dennis with the touch.
Budic there as well. Opportunity for a foot on the ball from Cameron Roberts. Haven't called his name much here this afternoon. Been pretty quiet in the midfield.
And that nice little cheeky flick there will play them through, but some good defense by Jordan Knight. Knocked long by Alan Parker, but it's cut out by Palm Beach. And we'll have a couple of subs in front of us. Ryan King getting his first breather of the game, and Connor Atkinson as well. And oncoming, it's starters Stevens and Bracy returning to the field after a nice little rest.
Jake Stevens, of course, the sophomore, and Nick Bracy, as you mentioned, the senior from Madison, Mississippi. Biology major is Bracy, and he will be on the field as Carl Addy Jr. will throw it in. And quickly out, as that was just off the body of Elakabe, and back to Palm Beach.
And Palm Beach back in their defensive third, doing what they do best, playing the ball around. But it's spread out wide now. This is number 3, St. Ville, overlapping. Coutinho in the play, cuts inside. Brazy unable to tackle him. 3 players in for a slide tackle, and Naranjo gets that long. Spreading the play again to the left-hand side, and that's a good read by El Kawabi.
Opportunity from Roberts for the throw-in. Still no score. Like we said, this has been one of those matches that has just seen lots of good defense on both sides. Primarily, though, attacking has been Palm Beach. But
as 0-0s go so far with 30 minutes left in play, I wouldn't say it's been a boring game at all. It's been pretty interesting to watch. Both teams playing some fast soccer. Just the defenses have been far stronger than the attacks today.
And remember, we almost saw a score by Palm Beach just at the final second. At the gun, they were trying to get a shot off and got it to foot, but it as down goes Elakabe, kind of in a bad spot of this field mud-wise. Looked like more of a slip, but he's okay and up.
And the shot from distance there.
It was the right footer that went a little bit wide from Lucas Coutinho.
And in front of us, we're going to see Wayne Hyman coming on. Now, Wayne's a transfer, graduate student, and it's his first year of soccer in the NCAA. He was actually a track runner, so he's extremely fast. I believe he was a national champion, actually.
From Warwick, New York, graduate student.
And Wayne, a 400-meter runner, national champion. So
wow.
Fitness certainly isn't his issue.
No, I would say so. 400 meters is... That's quite a good distance, too. Take some fitness for that. And now Palm Beach trying to get it out of their own zone.
And El Kabi putting in work there, sprinting back for coverage.
How many miles do you think these players log in a game?
I'd be really interested to see that. I know at the professional games they have logs in the Premier League, and these players run miles and miles within a game back and forth. And Wayne with the flexibility there, leg up. Not sure how that wasn't called a high leg after some of the dangerous play calls earlier. But it's his first chance to run at them. Takes a tumble.
Wayne over there doing some work, trying to get the offense set up.
But he puts Naranja under a little bit of pressure there, and Oliver Purnell swipes that clear. But only to find a Palm Beach player.
Kind of going the wrong way for a moment there. Budic looking ahead.
Dennis.
See what they can do.
And El Kabi with the ball now gets a chance to run. Dribbles it through. But he's got 3 players around him, and he's still got possession. Good work by the freshman. Threaded through by Jake Stevens. Great pass, and El Kabi running down the line. Let's see what he can do. He's one-on-one with the defender. Puts it through. Still in possession.
He's got a player in the middle in Smith. They could never cross it as that was knocked out of bounds.
And I'm not quite sure how that's a goal kick. Clearly a slide tackle.
I guess at the very last moment, maybe it looked like it last touched O'Sullivan. You're right. O'Sullivan was down there playing some solid defense.
And Coach Pete not impressed with that decision at all. You can see him on the sideline getting a little bit heated there.
I mean, solid defense, but it seemed like he was the last one to force it out.
For sure. However, I'm not sure about El Kabi's decision there. I think he probably should have put in the ball. I'm not sure it needed the overlapping pass. He'd already done so well to beat 3 players, and maybe he should have just served the final product there.
Still scoreless, 25 minutes left to play in regulation.
And Allen.
Coutinho.
Oh, and Coutinho does well
shot
there.
Opportunity. And nicely played out by the keeper. Back on goal and score. That's Dennis.
And Ollie Purnell flat on his front there. It was a good first save, but really placed it back in front into the bad areas. As a goalkeeper, you want to try and push it to the side. And unfortunately for Ollie, he only pushed it as forward as to the next Palm Beach striker. It was a good finish, and he really had no chance with the second shot. No one really closing down the attacker there, so he had a free shot on goal.
Charlie Dennis putting it away. The junior from England, went to Shorter University. And that came at 24:48 left to play in regulation.
And I think Coach Pete's still complaining from the fact that that corner was not given to the Lakers because the ball came from the residing goal kick. If the Lakers had had that corner kick, it might have been a different end product.
We'll see Chris Sands-Thomas coming into the game for Palm Beach.
Nick Brazy with a long ball there from the kickoff, but didn't find a Laker player.
Also, Juan Pablo Puelma will come in defensively for the Sailfish.
And now what's really important for the Lakers is that they respond to that goal positively. They may be 1-0 down, but there's still 24 minutes in the game. What they need not to do is drop their heads. They need to rise on this and go get a goal. They've had equal opportunities in the second half. They've been playing better in the attack. So I think they need to realize that just because they've let in a goal now, the game isn't over.
It's always those rebounds, it seems like, that will come back and bite you, and that's exactly what happened there.
And it's so hard as a goalkeeper when you make that first save and then the rebound goes in, because for you, that first save doesn't even matter anymore, because you know what? If you let in a goal, it's the same result. So Ollie will be really disappointed, but in fairness, he saved the first shot, so there's not much he could have done about the second.
Well, you're probably thinking, too, as a keeper, if I could have just hung on to it.
I think for Ollie, it wouldn't have been that he hung on to it. It was hit with so much power, he was never going to catch it. But parrying areas, realistically, he would have ideally parried it out to the side rather than straight back out front. And I think area-wise, it wasn't ideal. But his defense probably should have cleared the ball afterwards or put a little bit more pressure on Dennis, because Dennis, from what I remember, had a completely free strike.
And there's Dennis right there. in the middle.
Definitely Palm Beach's most significant player, I would say, standout-wise.
And you would have to think now that they're going to, I would assume, start to play in a little bit of a shell, as there's our first look at Puelma. Juan Pablo Puelma puts it ahead.
Charlie Dennis to cross that in. And it's away well by Naranjo, the red shirt freshman.
Andy Jr. had a go at trying to get the header. There's Dennis again. Dennis will look to chip it in. Puelma, oh, right footer will get in for goal number 2.
And just as I was saying about how they react to that first goal, and that's definitely not what the Lakers want. It was some good footwork and some very good play, and one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Not much Oliver Purnell could have done there, but I saw him having a little word with his defence because they just weren't strong enough there. You've got to put in a challenge. Once you're in the box one-on-one, very little Purnell could have done. But it's all falling apart in defense for the Lakers right now, sadly.
Dennis will pick up his 3rd point. He'll get the assist there, as that was the substitute. Just came in the game a few minutes before. Juan Pablo Puelma, a sophomore from Viña del Mar, Chile. And so he'll make the score 2-0 at 22:33 left to play.
And Coach Peterson subbing in Connor Atkinson, the sturdy man in defense. That's not a great ball, but Bilal Knockley back on the field, did well to get that down.
Now it's imperative really to sort of kind of go all out for the Lakers.
For me, the Lakers now with 22 minutes have nothing to lose. They may as well play that attacking ball because really 3-0 is no worse than 2-0. And if they concede another goal, trying to score one, it's not the end of the world right now. They've got, with 20 minutes, they've got time.
Hyman on the foul. Got Puelma from behind. Yeah, you would have to think at this point you've got to play for a tie, at least to go into overtime, to try to knot this at 2. 3 goals essentially would be the game. With the time the way it is now, with 21:28 to play, they're going to have their hands full.
The Lakers have got to test the goalkeeper, though. As I say, he's made one real save of the game, and that's not good enough for an offensive side.
We said you would think with the way Palm Beach has played, they would be happy to sort of shell it up, go back and play with their defense. We'll see if they attack, though, again.
That's what I'm saying. I'm very surprised. It seems that actually they've done the opposite. Since they've scored their goal, they're actually pressing more forwards.
I was thinking that, too. I mean, especially the way we saw the pace of play go in the first half, where it was essentially we're just going to pass, let's set it up, trickle it down, see if we can get a point-blank shot. Now, all of a sudden, you're right, Palm Beach has, up 2-0, really started to press the issue.
See, in England, we have a phrase. We say that once you score a goal, teams tend to park the bus. They're going to park that defensive bus and just go all out in defense. But instead, look, they're having more shots than they had in the first half now that they're 2-0 up. So perhaps now they've gained that confidence in offense and they know that they can score. And now they're trying to score as many as they can, really.
That was Budic down there trying to get some space and position, and he'll be called for that foul. And
we've got Alan Parker down in the 18-yard box being stretched out by Oliver Purnell. Looks like he might be cramping up in the calves a little bit.
Time of game that you could see that happening.
And Ollie Purnell calling for the substitute there. Alan Parker unable to play on, but the coach doesn't seem to be awake to it.
Jared Skinner coming in the game for the Sailfish.
And they're telling Parker to play on. He can't walk. Okay, now we've got a substitute coming in. I was about to say there's no way he's playing on if he's down on the floor.
Cameron Roberts coming out for the Sailfish, we should say, is that substitution with Skinner. And you're right, Bracey coming in.
Bracey coming in at left back. We've got a completely different back four than what we started with, adding Naranjo, the freshman, in at right back. And Purnell with that big kick, but it looks like it's going out of play, and that's exactly what happened.
2-0. It is the Sailfish on top right now after two scores pretty close to each other within about 2 minutes of each other.
We were talking earlier about goals by the same person within quick time, and it wasn't by the same person, but 2 goals in 2-3 minutes. Heartbreaking for the Lakers, really, after defending so solidly for a good proportion of the game.
Charlie Dennis, though, was involved. He had the first goal and then got the assist on the second.
So he's starting his season off pretty nicely in terms of points. And it's played wide. Number 15, Chris Sandys Thomas. Oh, and that's a nice flick there, Sandy Thomas. And that's some great play. Palm Beach with some pretty soccer. Ollie Pennell with the save. Again, though, he'll be disappointed about the areas he's parrying into. Ollie's such a great goalkeeper. I've had the pleasure to train with him. And I know as a perfectionist, he'll be disappointed that he's parrying it back central rather than to the side right now. Knockley with some quick feet on the line. Bilal.
Do you get the hand on it, though? That counts for something.
No, I'm not being hard on Ollie. He's a great keeper and he's doing well to get the saves. But as a perfectionist like he is, he's not going to want to parry it straight out to the forwards.
Coutinho, a shot on goal.
And that's a better area there. You see how now that guy can't get a strike in from the center. Instead, he's shooting from the wing, which is a lot less dangerous than down the middle.
Taking away essentially that rebound that's so lethal most of the time.
Exactly. Oof. And a high strike there, high and wide.
It was the young man who scored their last goal, Juan Pablo Puelma.
And coming in for Palm Beach, it's number 27, Timo Null. He's a sophomore from Germany. And coming off, it's going to be number 19, Dominic Budik. Quieter second half for Budik. I remember talking about him a lot in the first half. Pennell, the left footer, to keep this long. Hopefully this one will stay in play for him, and it does. Central. Contended by, well, it was allowed to hop 3 times there.
Ooh, looked like it might have been a handball there, but no call. It was off the hand of Sandy Thomas, it looked like.
A slip by Knoll, but he was able to get up and recover it.
Speaking of international players, Chris Sandys Thomas, who came in the game, a sophomore from Harare, Zimbabwe. Quite a ways away from home.
They've got plenty of internationals in both teams on display today. And that's what's so beautiful about college soccer. It brings it, well, college sport in general, it brings people from all over the world to America. And you get to meet people of all different countries.
Well, I mean, just looking here we'll have to wait and see what Palm Beach can do. Trying to on that near side wing.
Naranjo with some good work in defense, but a disappointing clearance there, straight to the Palm Beach player. Lets it go off for a throw. What were you saying there about internationals?
Well, I mean, just look at just Palm Beach alone. I mean, we've got players from Costa Rica, Santiago, Chile, Brazil, Frankfurt, Germany.
And I'll interrupt you there because we nearly had an attack there by number 14. That was Cleef Desir with the run into the 18-yard box, but some good defensive work by the Lakers. But it will be another corner. And it's a short corner this time. 2 defenders, Wayne Hyman. Hyman does well there with the clearance. Knocks it out for a throw, saves the corner.
Playing down that corner is kind of dangerous. And see where the flag went. Did it go out? They'll say another throw-in.
I'm pretty sure Hyman didn't actually touch that, but a throw is better than a foul because if he didn't touch the ball, he probably fouled him. It's a little too early to be holding the ball in the corner, you would think. With 15 minutes left on the clock, Palm Beach leading Clayton State. It's 2-0 in this season opener, rescheduled from yesterday. And just a little reminder that the Laker men will be playing at home again tomorrow. I believe it's a 7 p.m. kick against Barry University.
That'll be our next broadcast. You'll be on the road, though, unfortunately, up at Nashville, I believe, right?
Yes, Lady Lakers playing against Christian Brothers University in Nashville. And that's probably live on the Christian Brothers website for anyone interested in watching another game because that kicks at 6 p.m. instead. So if you want to get your Laker soccer fix, you got 2 games.
One right after the other.
Exactly.
We'll be playing at 5 Central, 6 Eastern. As it'll get started in Nashville. Palm Beach.
How do you think it's going to affect the Lakers tomorrow if they do take the loss today?
Well, it would either be draining or it's going to be motivating. And we'll have to see. I mean, that's...
Could go either way, really.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the question is what will happen as far as will this game drain them, having to play not quite, they'll get a little bit over 24 hours rest, but still, I mean, that's tough, bounce back-to-back days.
Realistically, neither team wants this game to go to overtime, and that could have been a PK. But if it's not a PK, it's a dive. But instead he gives a corner, so the referee all over the place a little bit here. I don't like to talk bad against officials, but it was either a dive or a PK, to be honest, and he gave neither.
Timo Knoll, the sophomore from Munich.
And 3 changes now for Palm Beach, getting their squad involved. It's number 20, Stilter, number 16, Scasaria, and not sure who else come on. Was it number 28? That's Victor Aruda.
Yes, freshman Victor Aruda.
So now that they're 2-0 up, it looks like the Palm Beach coach is giving a lot of people some game time.
And in the final 13.
And it's deep.
And they're attacking, and that will be a header, but just a little bit to the far side of the goal, so no real threats. But nonetheless, Pinnell has played, I think, nicely today.
Yeah, I definitely think he's had some very good saves. And it's hard as a goalkeeper because deep down, if you concede 2 goals, you're going to be disappointed regardless of how many saves you make. And Ollie needs to remember that he's had a great performance. He's put in some good saves. And there wasn't really much he could do about either goal.
Connor Atkinson out. Tyson Artis will come in, a freshman from Atlanta.
And the Lakers with a free kick halfway into their own half after a high foot on Ryan King. And Ryan King will be the one to take this free kick, delivering it in. Assistant coach Richard there, former player at Clayton State, demanding players to get in the box, and Lakers leaving no one at home. So if the ball does break, it's going to be Oliver Pinnell against the world.
Well, they're hoping for the best. Here's King. Set up on that far side of the penalty box.
Right-footed delivery by King. It's hit low, and oof.
That could have sneaked it through everybody.
That was a dangerous delivery because for those with those free kicks in defence, you're expecting that to come high, you're expecting it to come long. And instead, King bobbled it in. And on this surface, really, it could bobble anywhere. So that was very hard to defend for Palm Beach. And really, they didn't defend it at all. It just sneaked its way off the field, direct from King's free kick.
I believe Jesse Parsons was the one that was closest to it, but just couldn't really do anything with it. As you said, it bobbly coming through there.
And 2 players go for the same ball. Lakers would need a little bit better communication there. And now Naranjo missed that, so he's out of position. And Wayne Hyman sliding in a little unnecessarily there. And it's one-on-one Jordan Knight. But a good recovery by Naranjo. He got back fast there, and Wayne Hyman can break with the ball. And he's still got the ball.
Off the back of a defender.
Good work there by number 18 from Palm Beach.
That was Skinner.
And he got in the way of that well recovered. Brazy, through ball to Stevens, a little bit over hit there. Referee in the way there.
A little jump rope action from him. Skinner now a touch.
Skinner threads it through. Some nice little interchange. And I'll say what beautiful play that was. It's a pleasure to watch right now. The Palm Beach players, they're playing some beautiful through balls, some nice little flicks, and they've definitely come on since.
That was Aruda, a little too strong.
And Oliver Pinnell begging for a ball because they've got just 10 minutes on the clock now. Every second counts.
And a 2-0 lead that they have to overcome. If you're a Lakers fan, this is starting to get into the time where they're going to have to really do something that would be almost miraculous, but still time.
And the foul's called against the defender, overhanging Jake Stevens there.
You know, it looks like Palm Beach has come out and played a lot more relaxed now after those goals.
I do think it's a little bit of a pressure off your chest because when you're thinking about Palm Beach, ranked 5th in the nation, you come into every game and you're never going to be the underdog, really. So I think for them there's a lot of pressure on their back, a lot of expectation. So sometimes maybe it takes that first goal to really settle down. And now, look at how they're playing. They're threading in some beautiful passes, some little flicks. And I think it's a lot easier to be confident when you have that lead because there's less pressure on you. Goalkeeper comes out and punches, but he's out his goal. And Jesse Parsons, off! And it's
Just
flicked
too far.
wide. And somehow it's a corner. We won't be complaining as Lakers, but I'm pretty sure Jesse Parsons knocked that wide.
It did look like the keeper was not the last one to touch it in Cortez. It must have been a defender down there that we couldn't see, but he said, take it. It'll be Knockley.
Jesse Parsons up onto his feet now after a little bit of a limp. In swinging corner by Knockley. But he doesn't beat the first man. Jake Stevens manages to get control, but now's the time to one-on-one break now. Naranye and Tyson should be there. Artist with a terrible back pass there. Oliver Pinnell left hopeless to try and get that, and he'll be disappointed with that ball.
Yeah,
Artist putting it out for a corner.
Yeah, he was, I mean, you would have to believe going to his keeper, but I think the thought was probably didn't want to at least maybe put it back on his own goal.
For sure, you never know. And with this field in particular, you want to get it away from the goal because goalkeepers don't want to be receiving back passes on bobbly turf.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to make it 3-0, but you don't want to make it 3-0 by scoring on your own keeper. And with now under 8 minutes to play, a 2-0 lead again, and Palm Beach showing really no signs of let up here.
And wasting time now, the referee should really be stopping the clock when time runs like this, when they're taking time as long as this.
I believe that is that Coutinho again? Hard to see the number back over
It's
there.
in swinging and away by Ian Smith. And that's a good touch by Ryan King. And now he's got a chance to run with the ball, but he's got no one in support.
And some contact there on that slide attempt as that was James.
I think the bench causing a little bit of trouble there, trying to get Ryan King in more trouble than he deserved. I'm pretty sure that was no malicious tackle there. It was just a slide tackle.
Yeah, slide tackle, and King kind of landed on Sassarod just inadvertently. Really no place for King to go.
And coming in now, it's number 20, Alan Meha, a freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia, getting his first game action this season.
Four-time first-team all-regional selection was Miha in high school.
But he's unable to get the touch of that ball.
Bill Schindler and Jessica Sharman with you. We thank you for tuning in. 2-0 lead for Palm Beach as the Sailfish, number 5 in the country, and they look to at least uphold that record with a 2-0 lead. And right now, Clayton State, you'd think maybe that corner kick was maybe one of their better opportunities, but we'll see what they can do here.
And Knockley with some good footwork, chips it wide, and Hyman offside, and he misses the touch anyway. But I'm not sure what he's doing offside there.
If it looks too good to be true, it usually is.
Well, really, for someone with as much pace as Hyman, he doesn't need to be, and I said it earlier about winter for Palm Beach, he doesn't need to be gaining that extra yard. He can stay behind the defensive line, look across the line, and then go.
Yeah, you were mentioning Hyman, right? That was the track star.
Indeed, so he's definitely got pace to burn. Now with 5 minutes 47 on the clock, it's going to take nothing short of a miracle to get 2 goals in this time. But I have to say, I'm not sure 2-0 really reflects the dynamics of this game. Yes, Palm Beach has had a lot of possession, but they haven't had that many chances.
And remember that those 2 goals came quickly.
And
within
Jake's
one another.
2 minutes of each other, I think you said,
Yeah,
right?
22 or 24:48 left to play was the Dennis goal. And then we saw the goal by Huelma. That came at 22:33 left to play.
And the big switch there is too big of switch. And Oli Pinnell sprints towards that ball. He knows he's got just 5 minutes left on the clock. And we'll have a substitution here. Another new face for the Lakers. It's Kyle Sterling, freshman, 6 foot from Lithonia, Georgia. and he's replacing Bilal Knockley. And I think Bilal's had a good game. Hasn't seen the ball as much as he'd have liked to, but when he has, he's used his feet very well. And Wayne Hyman ducks under that ball, and they're getting in each other's way there, Hyman and Stevens. Very scrappy out there. Naranjo with the long throw to Hyman.
Pace of play really picking up here as Hyman trying to get something going in that near side corner. Let's see what he can do, and it'll just trickle out of bounds.
And the foul called on Hyman against the Lakers. I think he really just fell over there.
So Sullivan defending.
It'll be a free kick now. Goalkeeper, number 1. Cortez will take it. Really don't remember him having much to do in terms of game-changing saves. He's had 1 or 2 simple saves, but nothing at him that's really made you think that was a great save. Everything really expected of him.
Under 4 minutes left to play. 2-0 lead for Palm Beach.
But the game isn't over. Like you said, Palm Beach scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. Lakers have 4 minutes to do the same.
It'll be a challenge, though. We know that.
There's no doubt about that. But it would be nice to see the Lakers at least have another chance on goal.
And you got to think that this will be now a game of keep away if you're the Sailfish. Just trying not to let them touch the ball. And there you see a little bit of the passing.
And we know
they're
Rondo champions, that's for sure. They know how to keep possession. Palm Beach, and that's a nice little threaded ball. But like you say, it doesn't seem like they're stopping. They're not stopping the engine. They're definitely still trying to get a third goal, the Sailfish.
Well, I mean, you can call it, some people do, junk minutes. But to the guys who are in there, it's their opportunity to play.
There was a nice turn there, but it's left out of bounds, and it'll be a throw by Carlos Naranjo. And he misses the throw, really, and Stevens left helpless.
2:40 and ticking now.
And the foul there by Naranjo.
Down in pain went, I think that was Timo Null. Yep, that's who it was. Sophomore we talked about from Munich, Germany, and he'll take the free kick.
It's right on the touchline down, about 30 yards out. And they'll take it short, keeping possession. 2 minutes 15 left on the clock. Good challenge by Naranjo. And it's long by Tyler. El Kabi does well there. But Palm Beach maintain possession.
Right now, the Lakers just having trouble getting possession. And that's not something you want with less than 2 minutes to play and down by 2. And they're still having to defend. A crosser, a dangerous one, and that's going to be a right footer.
Good save by Ollie Purnell there, keeping the game at 2-0. Blocked that with his body. Brave work there, Ollie.
Under 1:25 now. Still in the attacking zone. Purnell again.
Good slide tackle there by Tyson Artis, and it's booted long by Ollie. But no one really challenging for the Lakers. On a good work, but Alan Meha not getting control of the ball.
Tell you what, the defense has just been
solid.
Stellar. I mean, really, this has been, we talked about those 3 seniors and the junior starting on defense for the Sailfish, and a whistle late here. And now we're under 45 seconds.
And that was the last foul there by Wayne Hyman.
So it looks like we'll have a 2-0 score as, again, those two coming pretty almost consecutively. And now under 30 seconds.
They're just keeping the ball now, Palm Beach. And it looks like it'll be a shutout in his first game of the season for Fernando Cortez.
An interesting game if you take away about a 2.5-minute mark of this game. You're at 0-0.
And as I say, I really do think 2-0 flatters Palm Beach Atlantic in terms of the amount of chances they had. Yes, they dominated the game. And yes, they played well out the back. But the Lakers played well. They defended well. They absorbed a lot of pressure. And like you say, just 2 minutes of madness. And that's the game lost for the Lakers.
Yeah, so Palm Beach Atlantic will get the win. Clayton State falls to 0-1 as they'll fall 2-0 here with goals from Charlie Dennis with 24:48 left to play and 22:33 left to play. A goal put in by the substitute Juan Pablo Puelma. So those two at least finding the back of the net. Also credit Dennis with a assist. So there's your scoring recap. And again, just a reminder, our next broadcast at 7 p.m. tomorrow when the men's team will face Barry.
But as you say, that's the best thing the Lakers could ask for right now. As much as they may be tired after this battle, they have a chance to go out and make things right tomorrow and get a win on the score. They may have lost today, but they now need to get their minds right, their bodies right. They need to get their rest because tomorrow's a big game and they need to go out and they need to get on a win on a scoreboard because no one wants to be on a 2-game losing streak this early on in the season.
So we'll see you tomorrow at 7. For Jessica Sharman, I'm Bill Schindler. Until 7 tomorrow when Barry will come to the pitch. We will see you then. Have a good one. Have a good Friday. It's Palm Beach Atlantic, the Sailfish, getting the win 2-0 over Clayton State.